We already learned how we can save the project actually, so you might ask yourself, why should we have a look at this again? Well, because we did this with a finished project, but at the moment we are not done yet in our query editor. We have to do a lot of other steps to have our final dataset. But you might want to save your draft status right here. And to do so, you have, well, two options basically. You can, of course, click onto this save symbol up here. If you do so, you will save your current Power BI project. But there is a warning you can see right here, that you have pending changes in your queries that haven't been applied. What does this mean? Well, as I mentioned already in the course, we have two different areas, the query editor and our actual data model. So the part where we want to load our dataset to once we're done right here. If you're working still on your dataset, you maybe don't want to load your data into the data model, because this can cause errors, for example, as we will see later, formatting errors. So you just might want to save your status in the query editor separately from the information in the data model. So basically, you just want to the Power BI desktop, save this, but don't load anything into the data model. And to do this, you can simply press Apply Later here. This now saved the status you have in your query editor, but it didn't load the information into the data model. So this is how you can save your project in the query editor. But we also have this Close and Apply menu here in the home ribbon. Until this point, we use the first option in the upper part, Close and Apply. If you click the button in the lower part, you have three options, Close and Apply, Apply, and Close. If you simply hit Close right here, then you leave the query editor and you are back in a data model. But as this is the first time we are in a data model now in the course project, and so far we didn't load the data into our data model, you see this warning here that we have pending changes in our queries that haven't been applied. In our case, as we never loaded data into the data model, this means in the data view, we don't have any data. You can also see this here in the report view with our empty fields. We can of course go back to the query editor right here. And now we are back. We can also press Apply here. Apply will load the data from the query editor into the data model. If we click that, you see that we are now applying our query changes, and we are still in the query editor though, because we didn't close it. So we can now either close it right here with close, or we can simply click right here. And we are now back in a data model. Here we can now see that our fields are visible. This means we loaded the data into the data model. And if we go to the data view, we can also see our information here. This will be covered later though, therefore let's go back to home and access the query editor once again. Here we are. Now you can again save your project, now with the data loaded into the data model by clicking onto this save symbol here. Now you see we don't get a warning because we applied the data, loaded the data already. Therefore, the project is saved now. We understood Close and Apply. This means we can now dive deeper into the course project, because up to this point, we only worked on these individual queries. But now it's time to combine this information and to create one new table combining all this data. Therefore, it's time to dive into appending now.